Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Ironman progress video. In the last two videos, we focused on possibly the two largest quests in the game and the content locked behind it. So in this video, it's about time we finish off questing and finally get that quest gate. So here's where we currently stand. We have one free quest, 5 members quest, and I believe we need to do Skippy and the Mogres in order to finish off Rag and Bone Man. Which, speaking of which, here's what we currently have completed for it. I think it's about halfway done, but let's go ahead and get to it. So now that we got on everybody's favorite quest outfit, we're going to go ahead and knock out the first quest, the Corsair Curse. Alright, so the story here is Captain Tak here needs some help lifting a curse on his crew. So after talking to his crew members, Ethoy the Navigator, Arson the Thief, Cabin Boy Colin, and Noki the Cook, you find that each of them has their own theory as to why they're cursed. So we spend the next 5 minutes debunking their theories regarding an ogre shaman's toothpick, a mermaid, a possessed doll, but then we realize that there is a traitor in the mix. The Navigator had apparently poisoned the crew and pretended that he himself was cursed as well. So after alerting the captain to what's going on, he gave me the go-ahead to slap some ass. So slap some ass is what we did. So now the crew members get a chance to rest up, get better, and for us, that is quest completed. Now it's time for some devious minds. So for this quest, it's odd how many requirements there are for how simple it was. But you start out by talking to this monk, who wants you to go ahead and make a new weapon to secure more victories, the bow sword. So heading over to the Smithman Dork, we assemble the weapon. Now I wish I could take this out into the wildy and slap some noobs up, or more likely be the noob that gets slapped up, but that's not going to be happening here. But we go ahead and pass this majestic weapon over to the monk, and what do you know? He wants us to do something else for him. So he wants us to go ahead and sneak onto the island of Intrana through the law altar, so the package can't be inspected prior to arriving on the island, because you know, that sounds legit. So we use the orb on the altar, and surprise, some crazy ass ninja pops out and slays the monks with none other than our bow sword. Just look at how this thing slays. Thankfully, the high priest forgives us for being such a fool and asks us to further investigate Paterdomus. So after finding yet another dead monk, we return to the high priest who wants us to seek out Sir Tiffy Cashian, and we have here another unsolved mystery for the Temple Knights, and that'll be another quest completed. Alright, on to the first of the mini quests for this episode, Skippy and the Mogres. So southeast of Remington, you can find my man Skippy. So he is drunk, and doing what drunk people do, he rambles on about what appears to be some incoherent nonsense. So we sober him up with a bucket of water and a cup of tea we just happen to have here in the inventory. Well, now that he's sober, he has a hangover. So just like we learned from a previous quest, the real cure to a hangover is chocolate milk with snape grass, and apparently it'll fix you right up. With that done, he now tells us that some of the Mogres who attacked him and how he luckily got away. And that is mini quest complete. So now we can kill Mogres as part of the Rag and Bone Man 2 quest. So speaking of Rag and Bone Man 2, thanks to the completion of Skippy and the Mogres, we can now get the Mogre Bone, followed by a Joker Bone, Zogre Bone, Zombie Bone, Terrorbird Wing, Seagull Wing, Undead Cow Ribs, Experiment Bone, Rabbit Bone, Cave Goblin Skull, Jackal Bone, Desert Lizard Bone, a Vulture Wing, and finally finish it off with a Bat Wing. And with everything collected, we slap them up in some pots of vinegar, boil them up until they're polished bones, and then we finally hand them over to the odd old man for yet another quest completed. Alright, now on to the only master difficulty rated quest in today's video, Grim Tales. Now why it needs to be rated as a master quest, I have no idea. It does have some higher skilling requirements compared to other quests, but it's still a very simple quest. All you've got to do is steal a feather from a griffin after telling it stories, climb up Rupert's beard in order to get Rupert's helmet, but before he gives it to you, he wants us to get him his freedom. Apparently his captor, Miraza, or whatever her name is, we'll just call her Mia. Well, Mia has lost her pendant in the witch's house and wants us to obtain it before she'll let Rupert free. So it's back to the witch's house we go, where we create and sip a shrinking potion to run around the walls of the witch's house in order to retrieve Mia's pendant, while dodging rats now 3 times our size. Then we turn over the pendant, Rupert gets his freedom, and we get our helmet. Then Silas gives us a seed where we are able to grow and climb up Silas's beanstalk before we get greeted by a giant in the sky. And after slaying him in order to get the golden goblin, we take that back to Silas. Now we cut down that beanstalk, return to Silas for the final time, and we are now down to 2 quests on the account. And also, as a by the way, the Dwarven helmet that you get after finishing the quest used to be the best in slot crush bonus before being overtaken by the helmet dropped by the Nightmare, so it is useful when trying to use a Dragon Warhammer spec, whenever I do get that. And speaking of the Dragon Warhammer, the search continues, but here's 92 range. On to quest number 2 of part of the Rise of the Red Axe series in Keldgrim. Talking to Veldebon here, he informs us that the Red Axe Company has left Keldgrim and will be kicked out of the consortium. However, though, he is still suspicious of them, and of course, we're put on the case. So now visiting the second drunken NPC of the video, we find that he's not too interested in giving us information without another drink. A beer isn't good enough for him, he wants the good stuff. So we're sent on a mission to brew a Kilda stout. For farming hops though, we need 4 seeds, and he only offers 1 of them. So we visit some other dwarves and get 1 seed from each of them. And now with the seeds in hand, we farm them in a conveniently located hops patch, then sit back and watch Netflix for the next 20 minutes. And with the hops finally grown, we're able to go ahead and brew some ale. So with adding 2 buckets of water, barley malt, Kelda hops, and ale yeast to the fermenting vat, we get to watch another 20 minutes of Netflix. And with 1 episode of The Office later, we return to the drunken dwarf, get him even more sloshed, and he tells us of a boarded up tunnel that leads to the Red Axe's new headquarters. After making our way through the first tunnel, we eavesdrop on the Red Axe plotting their evil plans, and after venturing further into the caves, we collect the evidence we need in order to put a stop to the Red Axe Company once and for all. But if only it were that simple, as we got caught trying to escape and had our minds wiped by an ogre shaman. So instead of getting anything accomplished, we chill in the pub with the dwarves, have a beer and a kebab, tell some stories, and mark this quest as complete. And then there was 1 quest remaining, a Taste of Hope, which I guess it's kind of fitting since the next anticipated quest should be part of the Mauritania expansion later this year. But outside of the Theater of Blood is where we start this quest. Our new buddy Garth right here tells us a tale about Serafina, who was able to free herself from the reign of the vampires and provided hope to all of Mauritania. But during our conversation, Vanstrom, Klaus, and Rannis Draken appear to be scheming something, so it's off to alert the Myarchy. So with things looking fishy, we're sent to spy on them from the windows of the castle. With the distraction set up, we climb up on the castle walls, run around to the other side of the castle, and eavesdrop on the conversation, where Lady Verzik wants him to track down the Myarchy. Returning back to the base, we learn the vampires were experimenting on both humans and vampires to see how they can harvest more blood and strengthen their immunities against human attacks. Going on the Myth of Serafina, we make our way to her house and find some old notes, pass them off, and upon returning to the hideout, we see a trap was set and the abomination takes out 3 members of Myarchy before we finish it off. But after escaping, we learn of the legendary weapon that can be used against the Firewatch, the Rod of Avandis. So we built this legendary weapon and confront Rannis Draken as he's delivering a speech about defeating the Myarchy. After slaying his minions, we finish off Rannis once and for all, bringing hope to all the people of Myrditch. Cleaning things up afterwards, we receive Draken's medallion, which teleports us to the Theater of Blood, and our final quest is complete. And of course, the 7500 experience all goes straight into Herblore. Alright, now for something I should have had way earlier on this account. Let's go ahead and get that quest gate. Yep. Here we go. Let's go ahead and equip that. Not the best outfit to go with it, but damn if it doesn't look good on its own. Let's go ahead and do the emote. There we go. It's actually one of my favorite ones in the game. Always looks pretty cool. I'm so glad I finally got every quest completed on this account. I've never been a huge fan of questing, and I didn't have the Questscape main account until about 2200 total level. On this account, I'm actually over 2000 total level now, which I won't show the stats page since I'm actually pretty deep into my next episodes. Plans changed when the clan voted on a skill of the week that I wanted to jump in on, so I got a huge lead in the event, so I was able to finish up this video today. But the next video will be dedicated to leveling a single skill. But that'll be all the spoilers for now, and I want to go ahead and thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you again in the next one.